So we got married in 1980, and we thought we would probably live in a city. Our first plan that didn't involve the city was to make miso, believe it or not. Several weeks after we were married, we went out to the Midwest and went to a soybean conference and decided we weren't going to make miso. We started fixing the house up because it was a mess and it had a lot of issues. And I think we just both got into it so much that then we didn't want to, let it go. So we decided to live here for a little bit. And Skip did not like the fact that there was farming going on all around the house from another farm. And it was being sprayed, and he had lost his family to cancer, his mom, his dad, and he just did not want the spraying going on. So he started trying to think of what else we could do with the land.
Well, I grew up in Washington, D.C. My father was a part of the Kennedy administration, so I spent 25 years down in Washington, D.C. My parents passed away early. I was 23 or so and came up here. I worked at the Secundit Vineyards, which was a large vineyard that was setting up shop in town. I ended up planting about a third of their grapevines with them over a year. And I kind of got into agriculture then, but I'd actually been interested in agriculture in high school. A group of us got tired of the cafeteria food in the high school, which was all meat and potatoes, and we got into health food. So I was kind of always around, reading up on and interested in the evolution of what now is called organic farming, because back then it was really, there were a number of books written about it, but nobody had really taken organic farming out of a 30 by 20 foot garden and tried to do it commercially. Conventional agriculture feeds the plant, not the soil, and that's what an organic agriculture feeds the soil, not the plant. It became pretty obvious that putting strong chemicals and things that altered the natural biological process into the soil, putting those things into the soil would be harmful to the soil animal.
I think organic farming is basically just bringing people quality produce that isn't putting a dent in the actual earth. It's actually benefiting the earth, growing it.
I didn't really ever think I wanted to be a farmer just because of how stressed they were their whole lives, and I was expecting just go to college and go and get something else. But the more I started to think about it, it was like, I don't want to do anything else. Could I imagine myself doing something like Silas, like as a firefighter, or like Silas? It's like, no.
We ran a vegetable stand for 14 years, and again we sold probably 3/4 of it was ours, but we always bought in a lot of other things like peaches and lemons and limes and all that stuff. And I was still working full-time for Peckham's Greenhouse, my family's business, and raising Silas, and I decided that if we could get rid of the stand, because I wasn't thrilled with it, it was a real labor-intensive thing, and it would only make money for maybe 8 to 10 weeks a year. So I talked him into giving up the stand, and I said, if you give up the stand, we'll think of something else to do, some new approach, and I will stop working at Peckham's and we'll give it a try. And that's when we started doing more farmers markets and wholesaling more, and it's kind of evolved from that. And I don't know what year that was. Now we do 5 markets a week, and I like it a lot better.
One of the aspects of farming that unfortunately has become really important in the last 10 or 20 years is that either you have to be huge and grow thousands of acres of peppers to get the efficiency of growing a large crop and have efficiency of scale, or you have to be very small and try to direct market everything you grow. Spent the last 20 years exploring and participating in sort of the explosion of farmers markets. And we also do something called a CSA, which is a community supported agriculture. Again, it's another form of direct marketing.
You buy a share of our farm, basically, ahead of time. So in the beginning of the season, people will give us a certain amount of money for a certain amount that's promised to them. And what we do, it's debit style. So all they have to do is just, if they throw down $400 in the beginning of the year, which is great because that's when we actually need the money to get started with everything. So once we have that money, now all we have to do is just bring them vegetables every single, you know, if we tell them to come on Tuesday and Saturdays, they can come and pick whatever they want and pick away at that $400 all summer as fast or as slow as they want, you know. So that people seem to like that a lot. But the community supported agriculture thing is really going up in the world.
The biggest change for us in the last couple of years is now that we're year-round farmers, or we are putting a lot of time and effort into the October-November period. It's become actually a more intense period than the May period.
Well, year-round production is basically a kind of a new thing for New England farms. Is one of the first guys really pioneered it with this guy Elliot Coleman up in Maine. We usually use remake cloths and greenhouses and grow a lot of, you know, try to keep some green stuff in the market over the winter. No one wants to just eat potatoes and onions all winter. They want to see some greens. So if you can bring that to them, they will love it.
My role here, unfortunately, is a lot of janitorial issues. I try to keep everything in its place so we can find it when we need it, and you know, things are kept clean so that, you know, the place runs well, and it's never ending. Cleaning eggs or polishing tomatoes or sweeping barns and cleaning trucks and blah, blah, blah.
I usually wake up, let my dog out, and then get working. And then from there, I have no idea, because it is different every single day. You know, half the day I'll be driving down to the fields on the tractor and doing that kind of stuff, flipping the stuff over, because I do a lot of the tractor work around here. And then once it gets everything in the ground, I'm usually just on harvest crew and harvest everything all season.
There's few things in this world that go to the core of being human and having meaning. And basically, that's one of the reasons I got into farming. There's nothing more meaningful than being able to grow food. And it's given me a context, and I feel like everything has gone to hell in a handbasket, or nothing really makes any sense, or why am I paying taxes to people to go to war and do crazy things, or why do I feel like I have to get another iPhone because my other one's only 2 years old and it's not hip enough. I go back to the fact that I'm actually growing food, and it's like, it brings me, it's sort of like a touchstone for me to get back to something that's irrefutably meaningful. And not that farming's the only meaningful thing to do in this world. I look out on a field of 2 acres of broccoli that's just about ready to be harvested, and it's like, I don't think there's any takeover of some company by another lawyer that would give me as much of a thrill as this seeing this incredibly potential, intrinsically valuable human entity as the full field of broccoli being ready to be harvested. It fills that void, I guess, in my life, and it gives me solace when I know that I probably could have made 15 times more money being a lawyer like my father.
That's taken from way out back. You're probably standing where the big greenhouse is.
Right, but it's just,
That's it.
nothing there.
Nothing there.
Wow, it's crazy how much it's changed.
32 years.